Well, I initially started training here in 2004. Funnily enough, when I was a teenager, I actually wanted to go to Body Slammers wrestling program, which was ran at the time by Al Snow prior to all of the Al Snow wrestling academies that he's opened up. Uh, but then I found out about OVW. I realized that the developmental for WWE was here, and as soon as I turned 18 in 2004, I literally joined the next week and started in Mike Mondo's beginners class, and that was it. I've been here ever since. I came at a very interesting time. So at the time that I came, it was Jim Cornette that was the matchmaker, so to speak, the one that was running TV. Uh, it was months. Actually, I think it was over a year later that the incident happened backstage that caused Jim Cornette to be removed, and Paul Heyman subsequently then came in. He was the matchmaker at the time, and they brought in Al Snow to be the trainer of the developmental crew from WWE at the time. And that was an interesting switch to see, Jim Cornette style versus Paul Heyman's. And then Paul Heyman went on and was doing more with WWE, and then Al Snow then became the matchmaker at the time. Eventually, when WWE and OVW separated ways at that moment in time, it was actually Joey Mercury that stepped up and helped out backstage, as well as Roadkill, guys you may know, as well as Danny Davis, obviously helping kind of direct things. Um, and then Al eventually came back with TNA. I mean, it was a very interesting time to see all the different people that were taking over. Jim Cornette, of course, then came back and also brought in our working relationship with Ring of Honor. So it was very cool to see the evolution of OVW through their working relationships with so many companies between WWE and TNA and Ring of Honor. It was really, really eye-opening experiences, and it was a great learning experience. I feel I've been very blessed with the opportunity to learn under all those regimes. In my personal opinion, I think it is something that people feel is inherently their own, and we all have a part in creating and shaping OVW, even down to the fans that come in. Based on their reactions, it dictates what happens in the ring and what may occur as a result of those impassioned fans and their emotions and sharing that. It can mean the difference of whether or not someone has a great match versus a not so great match. And because of the fact, I feel like every single person, from the fans to the staff to the wrestlers, every person plays an inherent role in helping create and shape what we do. It ultimately feels like we were connected to that same energy. And that's why I feel that we have something very cool and unique here. So, full disclosure, I am a doctor of physical therapy. I'm a man of science, and I don't necessarily believe in ghosts, but I do have a story that I feel I can't reasonably explain. And so I literally cannot throw out the hypothesis that it could be a ghost based on the fact that it's really, really strange, and I don't know how to explain it. So one day I came in, it was actually during the afternoon, so not even a particularly scary time, but I came into the arena to get some work done, and I'm always paranoid about possibly a door having been left open. So as soon as I come in, anytime I come to the arena, I check every single door to make sure it was locked. And fortunately, I was perfectly safe and found out all the doors were locked. And so no one could be in the building except for myself. And so I then took it upon myself to come into this office to work on some things. It was then while I was working that I literally heard the side fire escape door open and close. And my thoughts were, would someone break in? Was someone hiding? What's going on? Is someone trying to perhaps steal things? And my concern is always, do they have a weapon? Do they have a gun? Am I about to get killed? So I worked my way through the backstage area, kind of peeked out to the ring side, and didn't see anybody. I went to the ring, looked around, checked the side door. It was locked still, just as I had checked it when I first came in. And I've been, at that point, still scared, stepped outside to check to make sure no one was out there. Still nobody. There's 5 people that have a key to this building, and I texted every single one, and all of them, 2 were out of town, 2 were at work, and 1 was actually in Indiana where they live, taking care of his kids. No one could have came in the building that had a key, and I have no honest explanation to how anyone could have been. I mean, the only thing I can think of is someone could have been in here, but who? I mean, no one had a key, no one could have gotten in, and yet the door opened and closed without explanation. And I have no reason or idea how that could have happened at all. Do I have a theory? Well, again, I can't throw out the hypothesis that it was something else other than a person. I mean, obviously, I guess it could have been someone that knows how to, otherwise, I mean, the locks weren't broken, so it's no one that could have broken into the arena. I mean, I can't throw out the hypothesis that, based on all the stories that I've heard, and I've heard a lot of them, having been around the arena for so long, and I mean, everyone that's came through here, I feel like has had some story over some weird happening that's happened here. I can't throw out the idea that perhaps maybe it was that energy or spirit or whatever it was.
What the hell is that banging?
That's the casket.
Well, we're shooting. All right. Let's see. I actually went to my first OVW show as a fan way back in the 90s. I was actually in this building for the very first show back in 2002, and on February 19th of 2011, I actually went to my first ever OVW show, not as a fan, but to actually work the event. So I've been with the company in just about any and every role that you can imagine over the course of the last 9 years. So you see a lot of people come in and out of OVW over the time that you're here as not only, a fan, but someone who's been with the company as well. And you will see people come through like Aaron the Idol Stevens, who was Damian Sandow for WWE, was just here maybe a couple of months ago saying hello to everyone. With our partnership with Impact Wrestling, not only when I first started here back in 2012 when we first got the Impact partnership, but now when we have it again, I mean, you'll see people come through. Like I got to meet and spend a lot of time with people like Rob Terry and Rockstar Spud, who's now Drake Maverick for WWE. So you never know exactly who you're going to see coming through the hallways of OVW.
I don't care much the names, is the passion for it, is why someone would come back after they're dead and why it would mean so much to them to come back here.
Well, see, that's the thing. I actually have a theory about that. It has nothing to do with being dead. It has to do with energy. So, here's the thing. OVW, man, the Davis Arena, I'm just going to tell you right now, there's definitely some supernatural stuff that goes on in this building. And the reason why I believe that is people say that spirits and things like that are drawn to energy, right? That's the most common thing. It'll drain the batteries on your phone when it tries to manifest, and this, that, and the other. So think about it. Energy and emotion. As I sit here recording this, it's a year and a month to the day. It's 17 years and a month to the day of the first show in this building. So think about that. 17 years worth of energy in emotion, not only from the fans and their passion, but the guys in the ring as well, giving it their all. This place is nothing more than a giant battery for energy. So does it shock me that sometimes weird things happen in the Davis Arena? No, not at all, because I've actually experienced some stuff firsthand myself. Over the course of almost the last decade of my life, I have spent a lot of time in this building, not just out there making everyone angry, which is what I love to do, but also, here's a little peek behind the curtain. I do a lot of stuff here at the building as well, behind the scenes. I help take care and maintain a lot of the equipment, the ring, the facility, a lot of that kind of stuff. So there are a lot of times where I would have to come up here on just a random night off to repair a wall, for example. Our retaining wall back where the commentary booth is now used to have a lot of people thrown into it in the same spot, and every single time the wall would give way and break. So what would happen? I would wind up having to fix it. A lot of times it was Wednesday nights after a show, but there was an occasion where I had to come up here on like a Thursday or Friday night to get the wall repaired. And it was snowing really, really hard outside. I wind up going to the hardware store. I pick up all the supplies I need. I come back here. The reason why it's snowing will matter here shortly. I'm working on the wall. I'm the only person in the building. And in the Davis Arena, if you're the only one here, you can hear a pin drop. I mean, there's literally nothing in this building that you can't hear if it's quiet enough. So I'm out there, I've got my tools going, I'm cutting lumber, I'm, got the screwdriver going, I got the power drill, everything's going, and all this noise, but I keep hearing something. It sounds like somebody's walking around behind me in the bleachers. Get up, turn around, nobody there. It's an old building. It's cold, it's wintertime. Places get creaky. It's snowing pretty hard outside. I chalk it up to the wind, no big deal, right? Go back to the wall, working on it, and then all of a sudden, I hear a door close. And it's not a loud door closing like someone's opened it and slammed it real hard, but like someone's trying to be quiet walking in and out of our backstage area, because again, you can hear everything out there. So I get up, I walk backstage, and I'm going to see who's here, because not very many people at that time in the city of Louisville had keys to the building, just myself and the late Matt Capitelli. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe Matt came up. I'm walking in, walk back here. Okay, there's no one here. It's kind of weird, but not the strangest thing I've had happen. Go back out, start working on the ring again, and I hear it again, only this time it sounds like a gunshot. Like someone has slammed a door as hard as humanly possible. And I'm thinking, all right, one of the boys is up here screwing with me, because I was telling them, the night before, I'm going to have to come up here and fix all y'all's mess ups. Go to the door, open it up. There is now probably 3 or 4 inches of snow on the ground, and it is perfect and pure. There's not a single footstep, not a single person in this building except for myself. So I'm understandably creeped out. The hairs are starting to stand up on my arm. I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm done. This wall can stay. As I get up and I go to leave, I'm switching lights off. Right next to me, right next to the front door, there's a little wall. It's a very, very thin wall that leads to our backstage area. I can tell you that I swear it sounded like someone was coming down the stairs and they got to the landing right on the opposite side of the wall with a nice heavy thud. I jetted out of this building so quick. I've never moved that fast before in my life. I legitimately was terrified. It sounded like someone had just been slammed down right next to me, and I'm the only person in here. But, not to be deterred, a few years later, I find myself in the position where it's getting very, very late one Saturday night, and I'm going to just wind up crashing at the building. It's the easiest thing to do. I'll just go upstairs, I'll lay down on one of the couches in the locker room, I'll sack out until the morning, right? I've got my laptop with me, so I'm going to sit there and watch a movie. I pull it up. I'm sitting there and I'm watching this. I'm starting to feel a little bit sleepy. And then all of a sudden, I hear what sounds like someone taking a bump right in the middle of the ring. Now, a wrestling ring in a very, very quiet building, especially one with metal walls and a ceiling like the Davis Arena, it sounds like a bomb going off. And there's nothing else in the world that sounds like somebody taking a bump in the middle of a wrestling ring. So I jump up, I run over, I look out, there's nobody here. Turn on the flashlight on my phone, I'm looking around, not a soul in sight, but I swear to you, the ropes are shaking. Not a lot, but just enough like someone had just gotten out of the ring. I couldn't sleep here that night. I wound up just saying the heck with it and driving home at like 4:30 in the morning. This place has a way of making you feel a little bit uneasy when you're here late at night by yourself. You feel like someone's watching you. Like there's somebody just on the other side of that doorway. There might be, there might not be. I can tell you though, there's definitely something in the Davis Arena, and I don't know if it's just energy, spiritual, or what. But when you've got someone like me, and I'm even scared, that's some messed up stuff.
I started in OVW in the end of 2010. I actually was driving from Charleston, West Virginia, where I was a weekend anchor and reporter for news. And I was driving 7 hours round trip to come call the dark match. One match, 10 minutes after the show, when Jim Cornette was our head of creative, executive producer. I say in wrestling, it's never goodbye. It's until we see each other again, because there are many people that have come in and out of the doors of OVW, in and out of the doors of Davis Arena, and have come back time and time again. It's always interesting. What I really like about OVW is you never know who's going to be here on a Wednesday night. I remember very early on when I had first gotten here in 2011, 2012 era, CM Punk, standing by CM Punk in the locker room. He's just hanging outside of Danny Davis, our founder's office. He'd come back a couple more times in the 8 years that I'd be here. You never knew who was going to be in the locker room. It could be any and everybody, because OVW is like folks' high school, right? And so when you come home to your hometown after you go away for college, you go away for your career, you come back to OVW and it's like, I want to pop in and say hi and see what the place looks like, see if it's what I still remember, and say hi to the old principal, which used to be the old man, Danny Davis, and now people come back and say hi to Al. So working on the broadcast end, there's been a lot of late night edits where I have been in Davis Arena with another producer or an editor, or sometimes by myself. And I'm just going to tell you for real, this place is up. Like, it is scary. I'm going to need you to bleep that. I mean,
Yeah, no, I'll do that.
there are noises and things that happen here that really need some explaining, to the point where I will not be at Davis Arena by myself. You think I'd have keys to this place after as many years as I've been here? No, not the case, because I don't want to be here alone. It's scary. You can ask people who have started to leave, and I was the only one here. I was like, you can't leave until I'm ready to go too. I'll tell you a story. Last summer, I was here editing a piece, and the edit just went late. The computer was not cooperating. It just wasn't coming together the way that I wanted to. And it, I was supposed to get done at 8. 8 turned to 9. 9 turned to 10. And then weird started happening, okay? I'm the only one here, and I swear I hear people walking upstairs. Like, heavy feet walking upstairs. And so I went upstairs to like see if anybody was here. I was like, is anybody here? It could be anybody. We talk about who's coming out of the halls of Davis Arena. It could be a student. It could be another broadcaster. I mean, there's 40 or 50 people always on staff in some way, shape, or form at OVW. It could have been anyone. There was nobody upstairs. I come back downstairs. I go back to editing. I hear walking again. And this time it sounds like a person coming down the stairs. My heart is beating so hard, like it's beating out of my chest. I feel like this is it, right? So I'm going out. I'm gonna meet who's ever here. I'm sure somebody's here. Somebody's come in the building. Nobody's there. I go back to editing. Okay. Then I start hearing a door close. Like the door to the locker room slams. It's like a loud gadoosh. If you've ever been in the arena, you've been backstage, it's a loud gadoosh, right? So sure enough, gadoosh, and I'm like, clearly somebody's here and somebody's with me. Like, what's going on, right? I go out into the crowd area, and because I'm my 3-year-old is freaking out, I have now turned every light on in the arena. I was in the little edit room by myself. That was the only light. I've turned every light on in the building because I'm scared of my own shadow at this point in time. And I go out into the arena. Nobody is there. This is going on. This creepy stuff is going on for a very long time because it started about 10 o'clock. By midnight, I hear sounds in the ring. Like it sounds like when you walk over a ring and the arena is silent, like you can't hide that sound, right? So you hear movement in the ring. It almost sounds like a slam. And I was like, I jumped out of my skin. Because nobody else is supposed to be here. I actually thought that it may have been Rip, the hustler. Like sometimes he's here late at night on the weekends. It was not Rip. I called Rip. Rip was not here. His phone would have rang. There was nobody in this building. I was like, you know what? This project doesn't need to get done that badly right now. And I left. Somebody else was hanging out here with me. I don't know who it was. I don't know why they were here. They were very interested in my project that I was editing. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I've been thrown through walls and doors, and I come up with a handprint the size, from my elbow to my wrist.
Daniel was across the bridge in Indiana, so literally no one that I knew that could have had a key to this place was here. Mm-hmm. And I'm paranoid. Every time I come in the door, I always make sure all the doors are locked and that they weren't unlocked. And if one of them isn't locked, I'll send a message and say, hey guys, the door's left unlocked. But all the doors were locked when I came in that day. I checked all the doors and I went back to my office to start working on some stuff, and then I heard the back door open and close, or at least what I thought sounded like the back door opening and closing. And then I ran out here and checked.
Now, the one down the hallway, you mean?
No, the one right here. The fire.
Right here, fire exit right here.
With us tonight here at the Davis Arena is head Louisville ghost hunter Keith Age. We are also joined by Al Snow, his wife Jessica, and Josh Ashcraft, who are going to tell us their story that they experienced here at the Davis Arena.
So, Keith, you and I, we go a long ways back.
Way back.
Okay. So, I've been here at the Davis Arena for years, and I've always gotten some odd feelings or seen some things, just never really put things 2 and 2 together. But I've never been aware of anything happening here, paranormally or supernaturally or anything else. I just always attested it to being, noise or
Building moving.
yeah, or shadows, something.
Whatever.
So the other night was last
Thursday.
last Thursday. We came here to clean out some of the offices. We were in a small office over here off the hallway, and I was sitting on the desk. The doorway was to my left. Josh was across the room with his back to the wall looking towards the doorway, and Jessica was on the other side of the desk, and she could see the doorway as well. And I was looking at some papers that we were cleaning out, and there was a class that was going on out here at that on the evening, and while we were back there cleaning out that office, and while I was sitting there and I was looking at the papers, out of the corner of my eye, you know how you can peripherally see somebody kind of cross a doorway.
Right.
You just kind of catch them for a brief second, and I kind of caught it, and then I kind of caught it coming back, and I just assumed it was somebody out here that had walked back there and then went into the main room, and continued to look at the paper, and then saw it again, and then saw it come back again, and it, to the point to where it motivated me to get up off the desk, and they'll attest to it. I got up off the desk and went out into the hallway and kind of like, hey, is anybody here? And I came back and I asked Josh, I said, did you see somebody, cross the, who was back here? And he said, nobody. And I said, well, I just saw somebody cross here.
No, did y'all see anybody move? Or did y'all
No.
see the shadow?
Nope.
That time I didn't know, but I have in the past.
Which then that's when he started to tell me the whole story about his experiences here, and with things that have happened, the noises and things that he's caught sight of. And then later that night, Jessica, my wife, we were shutting everything down, and you went back into the back area there in the office, and
And the hallway was dark, and so as I turned to flip the light on, at the end of the hall there's like an armchair. It looks like an old barber chair, and it sits right at the end of the hall. And as I went to turn to flip the light on, and I looked down the hall, there was somebody sitting in the chair. Which of course freaked me out. I flipped the light on, nobody was there.
Yeah.
So I quickly left.
And keep in mind that it's not like we had any forethought or any foreknowledge of anything happening here in any way. It just literally that night, was the first time that I took notice of it.
Yeah. I haven't been here for 12, 15 years,
Mhm.
something like that. And back, Danny Davis. Had
Yeah.
told me that, but he was joking around,
Right.
that he thought the place was haunted because he hears people talking. And of course, I attest that to, well, it could be somebody on the other side of the wall.
Well, you can't hear anybody through that wall.
I'm just saying, you're in an aluminum building.
True.
And sound does carry, especially over aluminum, especially over these trusses.
Yeah, but we've never had, we
Yeah.
literally have a alarm system that goes over to that side of the building to notify them if anything happens over here because they can't hear it.
Has it ever been set off?
Yeah, and I can't hear it over there because we had a test done a couple of months ago. We had to get the fire alarm tested, and they set it off, and it was going off over there.
You couldn't hear it?
I couldn't hear it. I couldn't
Have
hear
you ever had, has it ever gone off when no one's been here?
it. No, not to my knowledge. Not since I've taken over last June.
Okay.
Now it may have, I don't know, but it hasn't since I've
Well,
been here.
like I said, when I was here years ago, Danny Davis used to joke
Yeah.
about it. So I don't know if he's.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, it'd be another rib Danny could have played on me where he's now, left me a ghost too.
Na,
So.
na, 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 na. Yeah.
That's what I need.
But all right. Well, we have a lot of people from the Ghost Hunters, Little Ghost Hunters here. My group, they're
Yeah,
here tonight.
I appreciate you guys coming.
We have gear and stuff, and from what people have told us and you've told us, we're already going to be setting some stuff up.
Okay.
Anybody here want to join us? Yeah,
We'll,
you're more than welcome to.
Take a peek around.
You can play with the gear, and
It'll be interesting.
just don't use it for a wrestling prop, please.
No, I won't do that.
But,
We'll behave.
We'll get started.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, boss.
I came to OVW in 2009. I did train to wrestle under Nick Dinsmore for several months, 6 to 7 months. I ended up actually tearing a muscle in my quad and decided that wrestling wasn't exactly going to be my thing because I wasn't quite coordinated enough for it. So I have not personally had experiences with OVW and the paranormal here at the arena. I also have not been here at the dark hours or the witching hours of midnight and 2 a.m. or the late night stories of chairs being thrown or doors closing and slamming. I'm usually not here alone. I do have an energy block, I believe, because when I was younger, I did experience a lot of paranormal activity. Since I was a child, I saw shadows in hallways. I've felt the presence of people. I've felt unexplained touching to the point of feeling the facial and the hand outlines on my face. When my grandpa passed away, I had several paranormal experiences that were unexplainable, of seeing people that I could later identify in photographs that I didn't even know existed. Being able to explain colors of what people were wearing, only to find out that they were buried in that color. And several other experiences where there just wasn't a lot of explanation to go along. I was also involved in a ghost hunt through our college dorm, where we experienced little girls talking. We picked up on somebody that had committed suicide in the bathroom, and all of these stories had later been confirmed, where a little girl had drowned in a nearby lake, and a man had committed suicide in the bathroom of our dorm room, because it did used to be an all-male dorm before the first year I was there, and it became a co-ed dorm. So with all of those experiences and hoping to tap back into that sensitive energy side, I'm very much looking forward to being your host to this ghost hunt through the Davis Arena and seeing what kind of ghosts we can find.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, you see that too, right?
Yeah, what the hell is that?
Wait a second, hang on, stay right there. I'm gonna walk over there. Let me know if I get close to it.
It's gone now, Ashcraft.
What?
There's nothing there now. It's just you now.
What? Not creepy at all.
So you saw red on there?
Yeah, there's just a little hint of red over there. And then, I mean, like,
Weird.
if you get any heat. Oh, look at
Yeah,
all
I
the heat
mean,
off
yeah,
that.
that's hot as all get out.
I know, I just want to see it. See it works. Ooh, no, that's a clock.
Well, yeah.
It
Maybe
seems
clock.
to
It's a
be
VCR.
that a lot of the shit happens upstairs, all the footsteps.
So let's
and
go
all that.
Yeah, let's go do that.
upstairs.
Well,
So-
now Jess did
Should I
see someone
let the
sitting in that chair too.
Guy take
The hallway was dark, and so as I turned to flip the light on, at the end of the hall there's like an armchair. It looks like an old barber chair, and it sits right at the end of the hall. And as I went to turn to flip the light on, and I looked down the hall, there was somebody sitting in the chair, which of course freaked me out. I flipped the light on, nobody was there.
No, I don't know, but our temperatures are changing
Okay.
drastically. So if I'm setting up, I'm sitting at 77, 77.9, 78.
And then when you move it down to the edge of the chair, to the arm of the chair, where Jess said she saw somebody sitting,
We hit
it's
79,
warm.
And then we go up to 81, fluctuations, 82.
So hang on a second. I'm gonna step through. All right, what is this, red or blue up here?
Your particular spot that you're pointing is blue.
Okay, so I'm going to put my hand on it.
Okay. We're hitting 92s with your hand, 93s.
And I'm going to let it sit here for a second, and I'm going to move my hand away, and we'll see if we pick up that same temperature variance on the top. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Did it change at all?
Yep, you're hitting 82, 80.2.
So then here's my question. Is it
81.
fading out? Because this has been consistently red.
No, we're still red right now.
What about up here where I just hit my hand?
That's where I have it.
Okay, so just from touching that for that short period of time, that has brightened up, and no one has touched the edge of this.
We haven't even sat in this chair.
No.
Well, yeah, no, nobody sat in this chair tonight.
No, nobody sat in this at all. We were all in the production office talking, and then we all went in there and in the LOB locker room. So that's awkward. That's strange. So let's try to shoot Al's office and see if. I mean, since that was Danny's for the longest time. So sit in that chair for me, and I don't know, it sounds silly. Shoot across the hallway into the bathroom. I've been in that office and seen what looks like, and this is no joke, and I'm getting creeped out just walking in here. Like someone is behind this, and then they step straight through.
All I'm saying is you right now. Nope.
Let's see what we got upstairs. Here, so if you go up and take a bump, I got you.
It's up higher.
Where the plant is,
Is that where the power strip's at?
there's a power strip down there.
No, I know that one.
But you also have a camera on the other side of that. You got conduits and all that right there.
Well, whatever it is, I can't
There's
find it
power
anymore.
cable right here.
That's what I'm probably thinking of. So all the metal's red.
All the metal's red now?
Most of the metal's red now.
Okay, so yeah.
So that side's
Let me
red.
grab mine.
Down here's red. Or was. No, it's not. Down there's red.
Yeah, see, there's no reason for the bottom to be red.
Where your hand was is cooler. That's where your hand was.
Right.
So then here's those other spots. They jump up.
And the bottom's giving a reading now too, isn't it?
The bottom right there is up to 80. Hit 84. Now it's back down. Oh, there we go. 83.7.
The highest so
82.8.
You know, weird reading off the bottom of the chair of a heat signature.
I wonder why.
It's just really weird.
8.4. 82.6. 80.6.
So weird.
Yeah. Now, could the light at all?
So shut your light out for a second. I doubt it.
I'm getting 83.5. 83.7.
I got 77.6, 78.3.
But it definitely started going up when we turned the light off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We hit 80. I hit 83.
That doesn't make a bit of sense at all.
And your heat spot, Josh, is 79.
So my heat spot from where I put my hand almost 20 minutes ago
It's cooling.
is cooling, but that front arm of the chair that no one has messed with.
Well, now you have to say Jessica sat there,
okay, Jess
but
did sit there, but
Jess did not touch that back.
Jess didn't. No, she didn't touch that at all. And
But-
that's exactly where you would put your hands if you were going to push to get out of that chair. like right, yeah, like right there that starburst is at in that image.
And she's still getting cold. This is where they hear all the, so when they're downstairs, they'll hear footsteps up here.
Okay.
Perfect. So, because you can, when you're downstairs, you can audibly hear.
And the squeaking. The squeaking is what you hear the most
Gotcha.
of, besides footsteps.
They're setting up.
To be able to hear you, to be able to see you. If you look down on the ground, there's a lot of things that are lit up. You can go up and touch them, walk past them, they'll light up, make noise. Can you tell us your name? So I'm gonna ask you again. My name's Shannon, what's your name? If there's anything you want to ask them, now's the time. Can you tell us why you're here? Were you one of the people that died at the bar?
So there was a bar behind us, apparently, like a pretty rough and tumble place that's parking lot backs directly up to our building, is what Keith was saying.
So if you are one of the people that died in the bar, can you come and touch some of my equipment? Come up and touch the piece of equipment that I've got by the stairs. Actually, don't have to touch it, but get close to it. Have y'all ever had paranormal investigators in here?
Not in here.
Okay.
In here now.
No, because typically, like if you like Waverly Hills or Octagon Hall, places that people go to every night, they kind of just stay scarce.
Right.
Like kind of like they're being treated like a circus act. To where here they're not tired of it, so they're going to be more eager of who we are than we are of them. So typically, you can just sit and listen to a building and hear a lot.
Because we're acknowledging them and they don't get that.
Yeah, they typically aren't acknowledged at all here. I think this is.
Many differences dropped by 2 degrees, went from 79 to 77.
That's a good thing. This went up.
Now it just went down by 0.2, 76.
Yeah, this one's getting hotter over here.
Yeah. If you're the one that took the bump in the ring,
You can do it again.
or the one that I've seen walking past me,
What do you?
Okay, so we had no intention of showing up in this video. We were just going to produce it, and that was going to be the end of it. But we had some footage that mysteriously went missing when we started filming the ghost hunting stuff, which is suspicious to say the least. Steve, you are not necessarily a believer of these things.
I have no answers,
but
I wish I knew.
You have to admit, we've filmed hundreds of things here. This is the first time SD cards have just been cleared of footage.
It wasn't supposed to happen.
So we're not saying ghosts did it. We're not saying, you know, we're presenting this information so you can have your own idea and thoughts about what's happening here at Davis Arena. But it is a little weird.
Yeah, look, there was so much stuff that was filmed that night, and Brian pretty much just followed us around with a camera the entire evening, and for a lot of that stuff to just disappear, I'm not saying it was supernatural, I'm not saying it was this, that, or the other, but it just doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. I've never seen the things that I saw that night in this building. I mean, it was insane. It was absolutely crazy. You guys can make up your own mind, your own decisions on that, but here we are.
Yeah, so we apologize that you didn't get to see the footage that we got. There was some really interesting stuff. There was heat signatures on things.
Yeah.
There were noises. We did a sound grid out in the arena. All gone. We can't explain it, but again, maybe that just adds more to the story than if we had actually put the footage in here at all. That being said, we really hope you enjoyed a haunting of Davis Arena. From all of us here at OVW, happy Halloween.
Wait, happy Halloween. You didn't tell me happy Halloween, Brian. You told them happy Halloween, you won't tell me happy Halloween.
Oh yeah, that's the audience.
Screw them. I don't care, dude. Like, that's the only holiday I celebrate, and you're not even gonna tell me happy Halloween?
Gosh, this wasn't a slide to get
No, guys, come on, nothing. Listen to me, Kenneth. I don't know how you manage to keep sneaking into LOB locker rooms, keep sneaking into events. You were probably helping him in some. Don't you give me that look. In some way, shape, or form, this is all your fault, Kinnison. You deleted it. I know you did. You didn't want me to be a star of the show. I see. I get it. You even told me I couldn't be on it, but I weaseled my way in. And you're just mad that I got more screen time than you did, Brian. Don't sit there and shake your head.